Yesterday, Ray Fittipaldo said that he sees Justin Fields' best opportunity as Wednesdays, veteran days off for Russell Wilson to earn the starting job in Pittsburgh in 2025. 2024 is seemingly out of the question, at least for right now, and I believe that that is truly the case. It's Russell Wilson's job right now. It's his job to lose, and I have a hard time believing that he's going to lose it. Even during the season, I have a hard time believing that he's going to lose it. His leash is not going to be very short. There are a lot of people talking, well, when you have Justin Fields, if Russell Wilson goes into a game and throws 2 or 3 interceptions, it's over. I don't necessarily agree with that. I could see numerous games in a row, several games where Russell Wilson really struggles. Then you have to make a decision, but it won't happen until you are guaranteed this is the reason we are not going to win a Super Bowl is Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields gives us a better opportunity to hunt for a Lombardi. At that point, it will be a change. But until then, I don't see this as a real competition. I don't see Russell Wilson losing the job in 2024, and I see him being the Steelers quarterback. And from what I've been told, the Pittsburgh Steelers truly believe that Russell Wilson could give them or make them a contender for a Super Bowl this season, that they believe he's got that type of upside. Do I agree with that? I don't know. I'm trying not to agree or disagree. I'm trying to look at it and say, I hope that they're right, because it would be great and a lot of fun for the Pittsburgh Steelers to make their way to a Super Bowl, to beat teams like the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets and everybody else included. That would be awesome. And for Russell Wilson to come and revive his career, I mean, I'm always pro player. And if Russell Wilson gets an opportunity to be that guy, solidify his Hall of Fame career, I'm all for it. That being said, the past couple of years of Russell Wilson have not been Super Bowl caliber, and that brings some question marks. But the Justin Fields side of this, the Justin Fields, is he the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Me and you have talked a number of times about whether or not Justin Fields will get an extension this offseason, and I think that there's still cards on the table for him to do so, but I don't know if that's guaranteed. I think it's far from guaranteed as we sit here today. Where he could earn his next opportunity if that does not become a thing. If Justin Fields does not get a contract before the start of the season, is he guaranteed one in Pittsburgh next year? And how are they going to look at it? Well, it's not going to be, hey, Justin Fields is going to get time during the end of games so that you could see what he brings to the table. It's not going to be, all right, well, anytime that the Steelers are in garbage time, Justin Fields will get his opportunities. It won't be split quarterback play. It won't be any of that. Ray Fittipaldo said it'll be Wednesdays, veteran days off. And I think I 100% agree with him that if Justin Fields is going to get an opportunity, it's going to be the days where Russell Wilson does not practice and Justin Fields has an opportunity to do so, to be the starting quarterback for a day. And it works in Justin Fields' favor for a number of reasons. For one, George Pickens is not getting vet days off. So George Pickens is still on the field. You're still going to have Pat Freiermuth. You're still going to have most of your starting offensive line. This is going to be an offense. Najee Harris will probably be the only running back that gets a vet day off this season. And you're going to have most of that starting offense. So you're going to get opportunities against scout team defenses to show, hey, I could run this pretty smoothly, that I could put this into place and be that guy, show, hey, I know how to command an offense. On top of that, you get to learn from Russell Wilson in the film room and in meetings and stuff like that, and get to showcase who you are while you learn from Russell Wilson. So you don't have to be the commanding officer. You just have to be the guy that looks like he could be the commanding officer and looks like he's fully embracing and taking in what Russell Wilson is spitting out there and being able to reciprocate it into a starting caliber quarterback. You could show the Steelers all season long that you have all the components of being a starting quarterback, and they will watch that and say, all right, yeah, we will give him an opportunity. It makes so much sense. So much sense. If you're in a regular job and you're training somebody or somebody else is training somebody and you're looking at it to say, this is eventually going to be this guy's replacement, then you want him to get as much experience without taking on that massive role. And that's what the Steelers are going to do with this one. So it could be a year of wasted time, and they'll have an opportunity to see that. Hey, Justin Fields isn't that guy. You know, we know he's not that guy. We get a sense he's not that guy. Or it could be a year of, we got to develop Justin Fields with zero worries after a couple of years in the NFL, which is massive, and it works. So I don't know. I look at Justin Fields' best opportunity as Wednesdays in the film room, and then showcase everything else. Give the Steelers a reason to say, hey, Justin Fields is the future because we saw that he could do all these things in a smaller role this year, and we've already put the work in. Yeah, no, maybe a little bit.
I mean, the natural talent's already there, and it's already been on display through 38 NFL games. So the Steelers know what they have at that aspect. What they need to learn this year is who is he off the field, and that goes perfectly with what you're saying here. Who is he in the film room? What does he become in the film room with Russell Wilson? I think this is a great way to see it. And you mentioned the one thing that everybody is kind of thrown in there is like, well, if there's garbage time in games. How many times were there garbage time in games last year for the Pittsburgh
None.
Steelers? All of these games were close, and the only two that I can think of that weren't were the season opener against the 49ers and that game against the Texans in week, was that 4? Something early in the season again. So there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for garbage time drives for Justin Fields. So I like the idea of giving him Wednesdays. The only question that I have is Russell Wilson he's not Ben Roethlisberger, right? He's not as injured as Ben Roethlisberger. He takes care of his body more than Ben Roethlisberger. Do you think that Russell Wilson will actually have those Wednesdays off, or do you think that there's a chance that he looks at this and says, no, I'm good to go every day, because he was out there every day at OTAs?
I do think that there's less of a shot than, Ben Roethlisberger. It was a guarantee Ben had Wednesdays off. I think it's less than a guarantee with Russ. Contract. It would definitely was. But at the same time, Cam Hayward takes days off. TJ Watt takes days off. It's more so of, Mike Tomlin says it the best. Sometimes you have to keep guys back from hurting themselves. And I think that's the situation here is Russ is a dude who's going to get hit. I mean, we went over yesterday how much he actually does get hit. The Steelers are going to look at it and say, we're going to protect Russ from himself, and we're going to make sure he gets a day off. Wednesdays Aaron Rodgers doesn't even show up to the facility until Thursday. So I just think at some point quarterbacks don't have a reason to be there. And that's, Wednesday practices, Thursday practices, most practices during the season are pretty useless for an NFL team. It's not much going on. You're really just kind of going through some scripts, but most of the stuff you're doing in the film room, these guys don't really need practice reps. So it's definitely an opportunity. And at the same time, the Steelers, I think, will want to see what Justin Fields can do on Wednesdays. I don't think that they're going to hold Russell Wilson back so that they get a look at Justin Fields, but I do think that they're going to not push Russell Wilson and use Justin Fields as a bit of an excuse to do so. Let me ask you this. What is in your mind, what is the shot or the chance or the probability that Justin Fields gets a deal done before the start of the season, and that eliminates all of this in your head right now?
In my head right now, thinking especially because of the way that they're going into this season, the amount of quarterbacks that are going to be available next offseason, whether it be via the draft or via free agency, I would probably put it at somewhere around 15-20%. I think the Steelers want to see more. They're not going to give out a contract. I mean, yeah, I mentioned it. They've seen 39 games from this guy, but in the building, they've seen him for 6 weeks total. I think they're going to want to see a little bit more before they hand out a contract. And I also don't know, we've been throwing out the Jordan Love contract. Is that what Justin Fields wants, or is it going to be a more strenuous negotiation with him? That much I don't know. So I'm going to put it at 15-20 before the season.
Yeah, I hope Justin Fields isn't looking for more. He's going to have a bad time next offseason if he's looking for. There's just not going to be a team. There's not going to be a team that's willing to give up a boatload of money for Justin Fields. It's just not going to happen. You might find yourself in a Baker Mayfield situation where you get a 1-year prove it deal somewhere. That's a great situation. Cool. But who is that team? Because to be honest, Baker Mayfield lucked himself into Tampa Bay. That situation's not going to be there every year. Maybe it's a New York Giants with a really bad team there. Maybe that's what you're looking at, or something worse. I don't know if I agree that there's a better opportunity than Pittsburgh. So why would you hurt yourself with negotiations? What is the record the Pittsburgh Steelers have to have? That's the next part of this is if the Steelers finish with the top 10 draft pick, is Justin Fields still in Pittsburgh? I say no, because at that point you're going to draft a quarterback. Where do the Steelers have to stand? What's the end of the season have to look like for Pittsburgh in order to say, hey, Justin Fields is the best option here and Justin Fields is not the best option here?
For it to be the best option, I feel like they'd have to finish, like you mentioned, good enough to where those top quarterbacks are kind of off the board and you're drafting more of a developmental piece if you're going to get anybody from the draft. And at the same time, it has to be to a point where you're not looking at Russell Wilson and saying, well, we should give this guy another year because he's impressed. So honestly, I feel like where they have finished the last couple of years around 9-8, 10-7 and get into the playoffs and lose around, I think there's a possibility if they do something like that, that lines up with Justin Fields getting the opportunity next season, saying, all right, well, we need something more than what we got from Russ. Justin has been good all season long. Let's put him in that pole position, as everybody has liked to use this offseason.
Yeah. So there will be quarterbacks that go in the first round. And I agree with you. I think that the Russ thing is still there. That, again, is more Russ than anybody else, though. That's tough. Like he's got to, if Russ goes and wins a Super Bowl, he should be going and looking for $40+ million next season. Like there should be no, go get your bag, boy. You just got 2 Super Bowls. Go get your bag again. In ESPN's latest mock draft, which is, it's an early one, but it's there. There are 1, 2, I believe just two quarterbacks in the picks, the back half of the draft after the Pittsburgh Steelers, who picked 13th. Those 2 quarterbacks are Texas A&M's Connor Wingman and Notre Dame's, which I lost him here, Notre Dame's Riley Leonard. Neither of them I'm super impressed with. Both of them give me kind of Bo Nix vibes, which is, fine if that's what you're looking for, but nothing crazy. I think that that's where the Steelers kind of cut it off, is after the Carson Beck, the Shedeur Sanders, the whoever's the dude out of LSU. Once those guys are done, then it's okay, Justin Fields, and maybe you go and you get another bad veteran who has some upside. Go get a Daniel Jones for no money and have him compete with Justin Fields, which stinks, but I think that's where the Steelers stand. It's a long ways away, but the conversation is already starting to build, because you have to have expectations moving forward, and I'm sure the Steelers do when it comes to where they stand. So I would say Justin Fields' shot of signing a contract before training camp, slim right now, even though I'm not ruling it out. During the season, impossible. After the season, you better hope that neither of these guys, like Russ has to be bad, and then Justin Fields also has to be bad to put the Pittsburgh Steelers in a position where they're like, all right, well, neither of these guys are good enough. We're going to draft somebody and we'll move on. So long conversation, but I think Wednesday's vet days off, that's a good one.